Now I give the floor to Azerbaijan, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We are exercising our right of reply in response to the statement made by the human rights defender of Armenia. Failing to contribute to the discussion at the interactive dialogue, the human rights defender of Armenia misuses this important platform for attacking our country. The people of Azerbaijan has been subject of racism of Armenia for a long time. As a result of discriminatory policies and practices accompanied by brutal violence and killings, more than 300,000 Azerbaijanis had been forcefully expelled from their homes and properties in Armenia back in the late 1980s. The hatred towards the people of Azerbaijan did not end even after their forceful expulsion from Armenia. By destroying and altering the belonging of religious and cultural objects and even destroying cemeteries, Armenia erased the traces of people of Azerbaijan and became a monoethnic state at the end. When it comes to the distorted information provided by the human rights defender of Armenia, we would like to state that the 44 days of war has ended the almost 30-year occupation of the territories of Azerbaijan. The relevant UN Security Council resolutions, documents adopted by various international organizations, and also the judgment of the European Court of Human Rights back in 2015 reconfirmed the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan and exercising of effective control by Armenia in the once occupied territories of our country. It was the result of territorial demands and ethnic hatred pursued by Armenia against the people of Azerbaijan that more than 700,000 Azerbaijanis became IDPs in the 1990s. It has been revealed that the level of hatred pursued by Armenia against Azerbaijanis is in its highest form when the territories of Azerbaijan were freed from Armenian occupation. Each and every cultural and religious object belonging to Azerbaijanis had been destroyed, looted, and used as pigsties. Those acts were an integral part of systematic policy and practice of racism and hatred of Armenia towards Azerbaijanis. Even today, deep-rooted racism of Armenia against Azerbaijanis continues in the form of killing them by mines and other explosive devices. The massive amount of mines planted by Armenia in the territories of Azerbaijan causes killing and serious injury of civilians. Armenia should take urgent steps for putting an end to the deep-rooted and systematic racism, xenophobia, and widespread hate speech against the people of Azerbaijan, in particular within its society. Our country, Azerbaijan, unlike being a monoethnic state as Armenia, has a multicultural society comprising different ethnic minorities. The rights of all minorities are guaranteed by legislation, and in practice, constant measures are taken by the government to this end.
I now give the floor to Armenia. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. My delegation is compelled to take the floor to reply to the allegations just made by Azerbaijan. The war and aggression against the indigenous people of Nagorno-Karabakh was coupled by an unprecedented wave of xenophobic rhetoric by Azerbaijani authorities. There were and still are loud and clear calls for violence, brutality, and annihilation of Armenians. In an extremely limited information space in Azerbaijan, public is consistently injected not only with the idea of racial and ethnic inferiority of Armenians, comparisons with, and I quote, dogs, mice, beasts, and cancer, but also with the repetitive notions that, and I quote, Armenians will be chased, driven out, and no trace of them will be left. End of quote. To leave no doubt, Azerbaijan erected the so-called military trophy park, a monument to hate and racism in its ugliest form. 5 months after the end of hostilities, Azerbaijani leadership attended the inauguration of so-called park, dressed in all fatigues, proudly walking through an alleyway, displaying on its both sides the bloodied helmets of Armenian soldiers killed in military action. Together with military equipment seized from Armenian forces, the wax mannequins of wounded, captured, and dying Armenian servicemen are displayed in the most degrading and inhuman way, depicting them also while bleeding, chained, and begging for mercy. The sculptors who work on this project boasted in an interview to Azerbaijani media, and I quote, "We tried to create the ugliest representation. We usually try to do something beautiful, but now it was the other way around. It was a long and difficult process. They gave them hooked noses, flat heads, and other features." End of quote. Furthermore, those narrative scenes in the most primordial manner depict the alterity of the enemy in a ways that emasculate, humiliate, show cowardice, and ignoble death. This is a form of visual propaganda that celebrates the institutionalized hatred towards Armenians in most despicable and racist fashion, thus reinforcing the decade-long effort of dehumanizing Armenians. We cannot be deaf and blind to words and deeds of Azerbaijani leadership that undermine the fragile hope for mere possibility of dialogue and coexistence citizens of Azerbaijanis and Armenians. They intentionally create points of no return with far-reaching consequences for the security of the whole region. I thank you.